It's early 2020. A mom enters a Goodwill. Finding a book in the media aisle, she finds one with an odd photo. Feeling creeped out, she then posts it on her Facebook group, only for the OP of our thread to find this image. Meeting their wits' end, they find themselves on the RBI subreddit with an account that is now deleted. They posted a thread with only one question in mind. Any idea what's happening in this photo? It reads the following. Someone in a mom's group I'm in on Facebook said someone she knows found this in a book bought at Goodwill. She claims to have given it to the police. My first thoughts was probably from a movie, but I can't find anything on Thin Eye. Thoughts? Looks like a guy face down in water on the left, with his feet bound, and on the right, a guy with his knees up tied to his body. Also, the shadow looks like a guy holding a gun. This is the photo attached to this thread. Due to the mysterious nature of this case, it quickly gained traction, amassing over 2,000 upvotes. In the replies, there are a myriad of theories surrounding this one image. Scrolling down, I found this interesting theory. I remember my grandpa telling me about a series of 4 murders across the Midwest in 1987, or something where people kept being found tied up and dumped in ponds and fields. Though, he said the 2 who did it were caught due to one of their victims surviving barely. A very interesting lead, but there's still no evidence that can back this image up. This mystery remains lost. However, the post had garnered so much attention that it started making its way to other subreddits, one of them being r/unresolved mysteries. A user by the name of u/nervouswriter had 3 theories as to where this photo came from. Theory 1. The photo is a set from a low-budget horror film. It's quite hard to prove this since there are no people who have found any movie leads to this image. Theory 2. I believe this is the most reasonable. The photo was taken during some sort of military training session or some sort of fraternity hazing. Theory 3. The men in the photo are tied up against their will and were in serious danger when the photo was taken. The origin of this image remains unknown to this day. If you or anybody you know recognize the person in this photo, it would be a great help to finding the birthplace of this image. The year is 2021. A woman had just moved into a new apartment, believing it would be a change for the better. Little did she know, she would be wishing she stayed at her old residence. Once completely moving in, she had an uneasy feeling. She brushed it off to the new environment. The longer she stayed, she began to notice odd patterns. Her upstairs neighbor was following her wherever she went, tracing every step as if she was mimicking her. We find ourselves back on the r/RBI subreddit. The woman's username is u/BlueBlackJupiter. Her thread goes as, I can't even begin to describe how unbelievable and frightening this situation is. It started shortly after I moved onto my new apartment on September 1, 2020. My therapist picked up on the fact I seemed uneasy and asked if I felt safe. At the time, I hadn't tuned into my surrounding much, but realized she was right, and I hadn't been relaxing. I'd soon learn why. My neighbor above me would follow me from room to room and hover over me. For example, if I'm in my bedroom, she will already be in the room above it. If I get up to go to my kitchen, she will tail behind seconds after. If I go back to my room, she will do the same, sometimes stomping. She's literally my shadow. For the first few months, she did this nearly every single time I got up to do something, even during more intimate moments, like taking a shower or using the bathroom. Dumbfounded, I asked my friends if they had ever been able to hear their downstairs neighbors. I've never heard them in past places and can't hear those below me now. I took detailed notes for a week before realizing things weren't a coincidence. The first person I told was my therapist. She encouraged me to seek out an evaluation, and I did. Not having a history of such illnesses, I never doubted my observations, but still wanted to rule out the onset of something like schizophrenia. I'm fine in that regard. Along with the thread, she had also uploaded video proof of her stalker in action. Since the original post, there have been multiple updates. Following the advice of the replies to remove and search devices that may be in her room, till this day, she still hasn't found anything that can lead to her neighbor being able to spy on her. Imagine going on a non-discreet hike only to end up saving someone's life. On the r/askreddit subreddit, a user by the name of It's Drummer Jake made a thread asking, "Hikers and backpackers of Reddit, what is the weirdest or creepiest thing you have found while hiking?" The post garnered a plethora of different stories, but one stood out like a sore thumb. The user Gaydella shared their story. The post goes as, "My friends and I found a 22-year-old girl face down in the mud, both legs broken with compound fractures. She had no cell phone, no water, no food, and nothing to keep her warm. Her friend was dead." A little backstory. My two friends and I were hiking a pretty popular spot in our area. It's a 150-foot waterfall that makes up about 45 minutes of uphill hiking to get to. We decided to go bouldering around the bottom of the waterfall. There are various little pools and boulders where the water runs off the waterfall. This bouldering trail is not on the main trail, and not many hikers ever veer off the main trail. When we found her, obviously we called 911 and gave her supplies we had. Eventually, helicopters showed up, and they flew her to the nearest hospital. Turns out, she was hiking with her friend the night before when they both fell off the waterfall. Her friend must have gone to get help, but unfortunately died less than 100 yards from where we found the girl. So no one knows she was hurt, or that she was even there. It's a miracle she was still alive, and mind-blowing to think what she had gone through when we found her 20 hours later. It's terrifying to know that if the user did not notice the smallest detail on their photo, they could have left someone out in the wild to die a slow and painful death.